Hello everyone and welcome to episode 1 of AFK Arena Stories. Today we'll be taking a look at the backstory of Shemira, the Corpsemaker. So sit back, relax, and let me tell you a story. A soul forged in sorrow, with nothing left for her in the world. This was Shemira in the final months of her life. Her husband had been a renowned healer, but her adoration and respect for him had gone out the window when she heard about the horrific acts of which he'd been accused. Her love soured such that when his execution came, she felt more anger than sadness. Niru had left her alone to care for their son in an uncaring world. It wasn't long after Niru's execution that the fevers took hold on her boy, Damon. Had Niru been present, Shemira was sure that he could have done something. She did everything she could, calling on all the best remaining physicians of Asperia and keeping vigil with silent prayers at the child's bedside. Her efforts, however, were not enough. After his burial, she felt as if she had nothing left to live for. There was no longer any reason to go about her days as she had before. She began spending almost every waking hour next to the grave of her son, sometimes filling the cemetery with a haunting wail, sometimes staring trance-like at the headstone for hours on end. She stopped taking food more often than not, and her face became hollow, her expression blank. One day, as she sat beside the grave, watching the last weak rays of sunlight kiss her son's name carved in the stone, she heard her name. She couldn't locate the source of the voice, but it seemed to be right next to her. She froze, recognizing the voice as that of her late husband. There was so much to say, so much to ask. Where could she begin? Exhaling slowly, she chose the one question that really mattered. Why are you here? She grimaced and tears flooded down her cheeks when she heard the answer. How could Damon possibly be saved at this point? A glimmer of hope had been placed in front of her from nowhere. The thought that it might wink out terrified her more than anything. She didn't want to listen, but it was impossible. If there was somehow, some chance, she would have to be strong enough to take it. Prove it, she forced out from between gritted teeth. The ground in front of her began to swell. She could feel tiny vibrations from the ground, as if something was disturbing the soil underneath the surface. First came a hand, rising through the dirt, then the pallid face and more, until finally her son, or some form of him, stood before her. She struggled not to scream or pass out. A mix of awe, horror, and relief was pulling at each corner of her mind, threatening to tear it apart. She still knew what this meant for her, however. Direction. Purpose. She would never let any ill befall the boy again. She relayed this to Niru, who explained that the only way to be truly reunited was to cross through the veil of death and rejoin them on the other side. She didn't hesitate. She gave Niru a simple, short command and felt a sharp coldness spread through her chest and into her limbs. She drifted into what felt like a heavy sleep, content in the reassuring presence of the ones she needed most. When she awakened, she had found a kind of happiness she never thought she'd feel again. Don't pretend to care about something you're not willing to die for.